I didn't know that I had lost my way. Thought everything was gonna be okay, but life was empty. I filled it up and carried on. The pain kept coming, I was going down. I held so tight, kept falling to the ground. I knew I had to change, I knew I had to let it go. And now I've found a better way to wash the ego pain away. And then I found the words to say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. I feel so free, remember every day, the moment all the pain was washed away. I shine so bright now, and I want everyone to know. You've got this living deep inside you too, and it's so easy just to feel brand new. Commit surrender to your divinity within. And then you'll see a better way. Things you don't need will fall away. Your eyes will open and you'll say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. Oh, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine.
Greetings. Welcome, everybody. Day 42 of our live stream. Awesome. Feels like I missed a whole lifetime just being gone yesterday. It's good to be with you guys. Great to be back. Definitely got some interesting things to share with you guys and everyone watching. Just really quick, can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, Don, just do a quick mic check. Can you guys hear Don?
Check, check.
So we don't need to. Okay, we're good. I don't think he needs to switch.
Switching back.
Oh, you are switching? Okay. Okay, well that's interesting. Did we have to? I don't think we had to do it last time, but okay. How are you guys feeling? How's
Don sounds better than Sam. Yeah, I knew those mics were better.
So the other one? Interesting, because Mics are supposed to be better, but they're not. Alrighty. Well, wait, is the speaker on? Interesting. Okay. Okay. So we only have 2 of those mics. I'll use this one. Well, what a beautiful rising. IAMDIVINITY from Philippines. That's good evening. Trust you all are doing awesome. So you laugh us. So, very interesting last 24 hours for me personally. I'll talk to you guys about that, but I want to just check in and see how everyone's doing. How's the rising for all of you guys that are just waking up, and afternoon for you guys that's afternoon for or night? Any cool updates that you guys want to share? Welcome back to all the returning people, and welcome to all of the first time viewers. We're here on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Are we on X yet? Yes, so we're on X. And I just saw we were also streaming on Don's Facebook yesterday, so that's awesome. And we're not, are we on Instagram yet? No. No. Okay. We're waiting to get on Instagram and TikTok, so yeah, I just want to open up the floor real quick and just see any updates that you guys want to share. Oh, okay. What does it say? I can't see from here. Sounds good or bad? It's better. Okay. Welcome. What's that person's name? Welcome, Louis. Welcome. Where are you guys, by the way, where are you guys calling in from? If you're wherever you're streaming from, what state or country are you streaming from? Calling in from?
Cosmos, Texas.
You singing the Cosmos as Poel? Awesome. Welcome to all you guys. I am Divinity Studios. We're global, baby. It was awesome to hear you, Don and Jamie just go all the, just sitting at home, just listening to all the stories. It's just like, man, like what we're doing is just amazing. I was just talking to this girl and she was talking to me about how she's had asthma her whole life and all this stuff. And she's like, there's no cure. And I'm like, well, scientifically, I guess there's no cure, but we have something, it's like there's people that have had cancer and able to reverse it using this process that Dawn's uh, basically uncovered and basically been gifted for humanity over the last 44 years. And so if this is your first time on these streams, get ready for a roller coaster. And get ready to get some I guess you could say just get triggered by your phobia of your light. I know I did for sure, and I'll share with you guys. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Sam Hidja, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at IAMDIVINITY. And yeah, I'm a recovering addicted to my pain. Or addicted to the pain.
Yeah.
12 step.
Yeah.
Well, before he shares that, I'll share with you what happened for me today. I mean, the last 24 hours. So, I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. I was going to go get my laundry, and here in the Philippines, they don't actually have dryers. I don't know why, but they just air dry it all. And so I went to go get it, and I would, I don't have a dryer. I don't have a dryer. And so I was grabbing the dried clothes from from the 6th floor, and there's like this ledge, and I completely didn't even see it because it was dark, and I like hit the crap out of my toe. And at first it was fine, it wasn't that bad, but a couple days go by, and that thing starts to swell up like a balloon. And Jamie and I and his fiance, we went to Jensen, and I was like walking on it all day. And then I come back later that day, and essentially what happened was I was entertaining this girl, and it was just basically bringing me back into an old pattern of knowing that this person's not right for me and still entertaining them. And so the toe started to swell up like crazy, and there was like a shit ton of pus around the toe. And literally at 5 in the morning, I end up calling our videographer / driver Joel. I'm like, dude, I think I need to go to the hospital. Like I literally couldn't walk on it for a few hours. And so he calls me in the morning. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna sleep. I don't need it. I can figure this out. Because I know for a fact that I created that some way, somehow, and I wasn't sure what it was. At least not yet. Or at least I was playing dumb. You know, I was at least that's what I believe. And or I know. Shouldn't say believe. I know that I was playing dumb. I was playing dumb to my own power and to how powerful of a creator I am and how I created that situation to take me out of my own light. And so last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I got to doing my divine focus. And for all the new people here, you'll understand what divine focus is a little bit later in the call. And so as I'm doing my divine focus, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, okay, I missed a piece. So this process that Dawn does, it takes you back to the very first trauma or the very first moment that you had a shock to your nervous system and basically shut down your light. And it allowed you to, or not allowed you, it basically convinced you to play small, to convince you to get out of your light and to give your power away to the quote unquote ego. Because the ego can't take it from you, you have to give it up. So last time when we did the process, the piece that I got was like, oh, I had this shock to my nervous system because my dad was in survival mode, and so that affected me. And the ego is externally referenced and fear-based. And so I realized last night that I still didn't get that piece because I was like, oh, it was my dad. It wasn't me. You see how it's like kind of tricky. It's like, oh, it was my dad, not me. Like there's nothing that happened to me. And so last night I realized what really happened was that my mother, she had a miscarriage at about 7 months of pregnancy. And so when she was pregnant with me, she had this intense fear and this emotion of, oh, this one's gonna die as well. And so I got that piece, and I'm like, okay, that's why every single time I start to get into my light, I start to sabotage and get myself and give my power away. And so like literally as soon as I figured that out, like the pain, like yesterday I was actually in crutches. I told my cook, my nanny or whatever, I was like, can you go get me some crutches from the store? And I'm like walking around in these crutches knowing that it was freaking bullshit. And then today I was like, man, screw this. And essentially like the pain went away, but the toe was still like really fat. Like there was all this blood in it and there's like pus around it. And I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna like, alleviate. And so I like barely touched the edge of the fridge, and I shit you not, like the toe exploded with blood and all of the, because I was like, I don't want to poke it. Like I was just like, I don't know why. But it just on its own, all of it came out, all of the pressure in my toe went away, and I was like able to walk on the foot. And so I share this with you because we unconsciously or consciously are giving up our power or self-sabotaging. Well, I can speak for myself, but I know that there are people on this call that have I know that are doing that consciously or unconsciously, giving up their power, not knowing that they are creating the situations in their life. And I just share this with you authentically because obviously I wasn't here yesterday, so it's like, where was Sam? And you know, I didn't want to sign up for that 44-year program, so I think I was like, I'll just do the 4-month. That's long enough for me. So yeah, that's basically what it was, boys. So that's true. I have been in it for a year and a half. I gave it up for a whole year. So so yeah, it's very empowering to just be like, you know, I know I created that and I can uncreate it in an instant. You know, if I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, if Don can help someone uncreate cancer, I mean, what the heck is a stub toe? So yeah, just wanted to share that with you all. Yeah, I mean, it's good to be here. Good to be back. Any words, guys?
Gilbert has something to share.
Woo! Hey, I was hey Sam, I'm glad your toe's feeling better, bro. I just wanted to share. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay, they can't. Okay, cool. I just didn't hear any responses. So yesterday now I just felt like incredible all day. And then so yesterday after my midday session, during my midday session, there's only like 15 miles an hour winds. So it's not even bad at all. It's just like a breeze, right? Practically, I kid you not, like I was about 10 minutes done, almost done with my hour session. At the back of the mobile home, there's like an area where the boiler's at, and I latched it shut. But the craziest thing I never heard, some winds were ridiculous out there, just in this little area. And the winds don't come from that direction, period. So it makes no sense whatsoever to me. And it was just, you can just hear it. It sounded like Twister was going on right outside, like trying to pull me away from my divine focus. And it literally ripped the door off the hinges. This is at 15-mile-an-hour winds. This makes no sense at all. And it's on the floor right now. I gotta go fix that shit. But it was crazy. So I was just like, whatever, I'll take care of it once I'm done. I'm almost done, you know, still feeling woozy and amazing. And I kid you not, I just ignored it, went into my divinity for another 10. I actually added an extra 5 minutes on top of that. And then after that, after it was time, the alarm went off. And all of a sudden, my dog started barking like crazy outside. I'm just like, really? What's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, all right, I gotta go check this out. And when I went outside, yesterday was my neighbor's birthday. So she's turned 60 years young. And apparently the person that brought her food from my neighbor across the street, because they typically every birthday they would go out and eat somewhere, but she wasn't feeling it yesterday because of the 15-mile-an-hour winds. Right? It was kind of chilly though. And what are the odds that the first year that they didn't go out to go eat, I went out there and then he was like, looking for Pauline? You know where she's at? And I was like, yeah, she's my neighbor. I can give it to her real quick. And then he gave it to me, trusted me, gave it to me. And then there was two servings, two massive servings. So I'm just like, that's interesting. Okay. And I went in, gave it to her, and I said, hey, what's going on? Like, here's your delivery. And then she goes, hey, you want some of this to eat? She opened up her blessing to me. And it was beautiful because she didn't have anybody to go over and visit her, and she didn't have any of that. So just by me going over there, spending the time to eat with her, like we laughed so hard and it was beautiful. Like, even though she didn't want to go out, she wasn't feeling it because of the weather. I still went in with my full light, and we just lit up the room, and we enjoyed a really, really good dinner together. So I thought that was beautiful, random, beautiful blessing that came in yesterday too. So I'm just grateful for all of these random synchronicities, you know? I mean, not random no more. They're coming in because they were meant to come in. And I'm starting to see that in full effect now. And it's beautiful. Thank you so much for letting me share. Looking forward to hearing other people's miracles and blessings, and let's hear them. Come on.
Awesome, Gilbert. Yes, let's hear some more updates. It was awesome to hear Nua's updates in the chat with his daughter, and then Shannon's. That was really beautiful as well. Someone that hasn't shared, would love to hear. Step up and shine your light. We want to hear you.
Hi guys, it's Paul. How you doing? You guys hear me? Hello, hello? Yes, cool. So where do I start? Well, I was sort of in a half awake state, waking up, I guess it was yesterday. Yesterday, was it today? 2 days ago. And I was just sort of half awake, and my partner, my wife Donna, she said, "Hey, Paul, who you talking to? Who you talking to?" Well, I was in that half conscious state, and I wasn't even aware that I was talking, although I felt my lips moving, but I didn't hear anything that I was saying. So Donna says, "You're speaking in Greek." And I'm like, "Greek?" Then I finally woke up, got a little more conscious. I said, "Greek? What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, you just said something about we have to stay, and we have to stay." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So what's all that about?" I said, "I don't remember saying that. I don't even know what I was saying, and I don't speak Greek." Okay. So then she said that I what was the other comment? Oh, Donna's mom's cousin Katrina, who died, apparently had something to say to me. And what it was, and I repeated it back, was that you have to put the icons around you. You have to put icons around you. And I'm saying this in Greek. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. I guess I'm in a half a dream, and I'm sort of waking up, but I'm not awake yet. And eventually I'll be conscious. So a couple of days later, actually today, so we went to one of the properties. We have a beautiful property overlooking. We can actually see the coast of Turkey from where we are. Anyhow, we're there and we're cleaning up because it hasn't been lived in for about 4 years. So we're cleaning up, we're getting everything all ready, and we've got this marvelous couple who've come to help, and she's really good at what she does, and she's really a cleaning lady, but she had other professions before. So long story short, she's going through the bags and she's emptying this out and emptying this bag out, and all of a sudden she pulls out these Greek icons, and she says, "Oh," she shows them to she shows it to my partner, and then Donna says, "Hey, Paul, look what she's pulled out." So, so I'm looking at these Greek icons and I'm going, yeah, so, and then she's speaking Greek because I don't really understand her. She talks to my wife, can understand Greek. And so she's speaking to my wife and she says, "Oh, these are really, really important. You have to put these in your bedroom. You have to put these in the bedroom for protection." And so there's a shelf that we just cleaned up in the bed in one of the bedrooms, and it's all nice and ready to go. And sure enough, there's where three icons ended up. So she's totally put it up there. So I thought, okay, so here's that synchronicity working, and even beyond my understanding. And I thought, wow, it's pretty powerful. I took it as a sign, and I thought, listen, if we're getting messages to protect ourselves, then I think this is a good thing. So it was completely positive. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Another one of those synchronistic moments that reveals itself later.
Beautiful.
Happened today. I many times I work with clients in the morning because it's like a lot of my clients are in North America, and this particular one was having difficulty back and forth, whatever, for different reasons. And she's in a 12-step program. Now, I was in a 12-step program. I was in it for 9 years in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I had never relapsed in that all that time. And that's the 44 years, by the way. And it was quite interesting. What happened was that she was talking about a difficulty that she had, which was a, how can I explain it? You would understand. Oh, she did ears, eyelashes and whatever. And she had asked her boss for a raise, and the boss said no. Anyway, she just went into a rage. And then I unpacked it for her. And here's what happened was that she took that on at an identity level. So then I explained to her about the different levels. And one is environment, then it's behavior, then it's capability, then it's beliefs, then it's a knowing, our identity. And what happens in 12-step programs, they say, my name is so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict. And what that becomes your identity, the way it's set up. And like, how can you get rid of an identity that you're saying is your identity? I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I'm a sexaholic, or whatever. And realize, like, there's 200 different 12-step programs on the planet right now. 200 different ones. And it's like, how do you get rid of an identity that you keep saying every day that it's your identity? And it was like, so I showed her what was going on, shifted it, and she just sent me something here about 20 minutes ago. These miracles that happened today for her. Just by shifting that what happened, like this lady said no, and she took that as there's something wrong with me, you know, whatever, at an identity level, and then boom, no, it's just an environmental thing. And away she went. So that's quite interesting to think, you know, and I was around addictions. I worked in addictions as a therapist, all of those things for 8 years. So I'm quite familiar with that. And to think that it's a trap, actually. It's a trap of my name is so-and-so and I'm a such and such. Well, how are you going to get rid of that if you keep saying that's who you are? I'm it. So it isn't that's not, you know, and at the same time, I probably wouldn't have been sitting here right now had I not had a 12-step program to get sober to begin with and get straight and clean. And but it's kind of like the behaviors, like negative beliefs to positive beliefs, rather than the knowing of who we truly are. It's those kind of programs and patterns are different. It's a big difference between a negative, you know, I'm bad, or I'm good, or I'm not worthy, or I am worthy, or I'm not loved, or I am loved. Now those are all totally different than I am Dawn. Boom. That's it. I am this divine being. That's it. And it's not a this or that or the other thing. So I was just thinking, you know, like 200 different 12-step programs on the planet, and how many are running that program? How many are running that behavioral program? You know, and that's an example of that negative beliefs to positive beliefs. I'm not good enough to I am good enough. I'm not loved to I am loved. I'm not safe to I am safe. I'm trapped, I'm not trapped, or I am trapped, whatever. And it keeps us locked like a log boom. It just stays locked, and none of the flow happens. And so as soon as I showed her that and did a little piece with her, everything is just like the log jam left. Just let go, and away it went. Just like Sam's hitting his toe on the fridge. That's his subconscious doing that for him. He didn't purposely do that, but his higher self guided him to that, and for that to happen. So that's what we have access to, that highest intelligence, that guidance and direction. And to be able to just recognize it for what it is and just go with it, there's a major freeing for sure. And on top of that, there was something that I was dealing with last night. Jamie and I were still chatting at 3:30 in the morning. Well, a half an hour later, it's when I'm usually getting up. And so, you know, figuring out how to deal with what was going on for me. And we're not impervious to things in the outside world not aligning. So when I will share when I got all the pieces in place, what's happening there, because you know, we still have to live in a 3D world while we're here, even though we're divine. It's kind of like Jesus walking on the, you know, around Jerusalem or wherever, you know. It's that being in that 3D world, no matter how high a vibration we are. So anyway, it's quite interesting. And the miracles that can happen when we are in complete alignment. Things line up, and just like Sam's accidentally bumping into the fridge, okay, his toe, and all the pus leaves. That's our highest self guiding us, instead of our ego self guiding us. Because it's the ego that created this or that. And then our highest self is doing whatever it can to unravel it. So anyway, quite interesting, and it's wonderful, you know, the feedback I was getting from some people today of what's happening for them. Very, 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 very exciting. I'm finding, Jamie would probably know that as well, like that the last 6 months or so has been, it's been pretty staggering. I mean, I think it's probably about 8 times somebody mentioned how young I look, how young I look. The boys here said it to her a few times. And yeah, so it's like, wow. Because sometimes, lots of times we can't see, or I can't see, can't recognize things unless I get some feedback sometimes or whatever, and how different things are for me now. And so I have been on on a trajectory of it's almost straight up actually, and I've only shared my latest work with Jamie. It's the only one. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this high level that I'm at, and I don't want to. I just want to be, you know. I don't want to spook people with what's going on. So
I'll do that for you.
okay, bud. Okay, very good. So, but it is wonderful. I mean, Jamie and I have been together about 4 years now, and before I was doing this all on my own. You know, just so it's really wonderful to watch that trajectory. And like I said, you know, before it was kind of like this, now it's like this. And sometimes it's like this. And that's what's happened in the last little couple of months. It's pretty full on. Yeah. And it's really hard for things that were around me or attached to me to stay attached because they don't fit anymore. So anyway, you're on, bud.
Yeah, well, speaking of the new work, I'm having a real tough time just staying in my body and definitely communicating less and less. Like, it's just not interesting to me. I have to shift into a different system to even talk. So I haven't been talking much. And I told Don yesterday at my Kuala Lumpur experience, that was when I fully embodied the previous work. And the distinction I made with Don yesterday was the Kuala Lumpur was like a full body experience, whereas on my birthday on the island it was an out of body experience. And
Out of planet.
yeah. Out of planet experience, yeah. And there's no way you can put it in words, but that's what's been going on for me. And it's interesting listening to Sam and just watching what's going on with him, because I remember my past self going in and out and intellectualizing a lot of Don's process, because I was so used to gaining the whole world with my intellect. That was difficult to surrender.
Yeah.
And it's like when we went whitewater rafting and they intellectually told us, rule number 1, if you fall out of the boat, don't panic. And then as soon as Sam fell out of the boat, he's panicking. And there's been many times, because to me, the best thing that I can do for someone is to just show them the truth. And I notice Don doesn't do that, and I'm starting to see why. So when Sam says something to me and I say, oh, well, just so you know, like, it's this, and there's an immediate defense, there's an immediate challenge, just like the panic it's like a phobic response to protection. And I remember that I had that in spades with the narcissist that I was running. And so it's gotten to the point now where I'm like, I'm not even going to say it to him, because I know he's just going to challenge it. Like, there's just no point. And I understand how Don's got to that point where he doesn't say anything. If anyone says anything, I didn't know that, you know. where I was still like, well, just so you know, it's this. No, it's not. What are you talking about? It's this. Okay, sure. And it's like, why would I put myself in that situation of people attacking me that I'm just trying to help? So I'm gonna get on the Don one with that and just let them crash and maybe come and ask what it is at that point. But yeah, for me, I'm just integrating this new work, and
He's the only one that has it. Just so you know.
yeah, it's really beyond words, and I don't have much to say these days. It's like I'm just enjoying and observing, and it's literally like if you were like a spirit on the plane. Like if you passed away and you were overseeing your family and everyone that you care about. Like that's how I feel right now. That still doesn't do it justice, but I feel like I'm just out of my body, just observing everything that's going on, like I don't know, like an angel watching over them. So that's where I'm at.
So yeah, just it's quite interesting to watch different individuals process. You know, when I take them through and they process, and someone like a Jamie that's had so much exposure to me is totally different than the Sam that, you know, has been around for, you know, 3 or 4 months or something. Huh?
2 months.
2 months. You know, and somebody that's brand new. So it's it is different, and the biggest thing is not under any condition use the intellect. Like the intellect is, it's like it doesn't have a frame of reference. Doesn't have a frame of reference whatsoever. If you try to intellectualize it, it's going to be a struggle, for sure, big time actually. And it's like, okay, I'm going to jump off this cliff. I'm going to jump off this cliff. No parachute, and see where I go. And that's basically what it is, and it's an understanding why people are so afraid. You know, they're afraid because they're afraid of the unknown. And their whole system with the intellect is the known, the familiar, and certainty. That's how I do this, and I make these decisions, and I go here and I go there. It's because they're in that, the known, the familiar, and certainty of life. And where we're supposed to be is the unknown, the unfamiliar, and the uncertainty of life. And just go with the flow. And that's why surrender is so important. And that's why my dear friend Jamie here had difficulty with surrender, because he was the best at everything he did intellectually, and just barreled through, made it happen. The best top salesman by far in different genre, newspapers, Kangen machine, whatever's, okay? And not just a little bit, not 10%, like 150%, whatever. And so there's that programming, but it's at a behavioral and intellectual level. And that's not what this is. It's this knowing, absolute knowing of who we truly are. And some of the ones on the call are finding that these, well, I think I mentioned, I'm not totally sure, but I was at a function 3 days in a row. And it was about this little one, and she was, what are they? Not Christian, yeah, Muslim. So the whole family was Muslim, is Muslim. And anyway, she was 4 months of age. And so there was 2 evening functions, one evening function, then another evening function, and then one in the next morning. Well, the second one, it was a, what do you call it? There was a live band, there was dancing, there was all of this. And the whole idea was like this, the difference between this knowing and whatever. And this little one, her name is Donelda, which was named after me. Her mom, when she was around 8 months pregnant, asked my sweetheart if I would give her a name with my name in it. And so my name is Don, boom, D-O-N-N. And so I said, well, Donelda. And so that's what she did. She named her Donelda. And she's just this sweet little, she's 4 months young. 4 months young right now. And so this whole function was going on, and different people were, I can see all the patterns. I can see them, I can just see them. And I try to stay out of it, shut my mouth, and it's hard.
I'm still learning that one.
And watching the charades take place, and all of the, I know everything that everybody's doing, and I just don't say anything. And but I'll tell you a sweet story on that. So here she is, 4 months of age. I don't use 3 years old, 5 years old, 2 months old. I don't use old. Nor do I use morning. I don't use morning. I don't want to mourn somebody in the morning. And so, so there was a waltz come on, and they had a kind of like a dance floor thing, and I just got Donelda, and I was the only one on the floor, and I waltzed with her this whole song. I can't remember what the name of the song was, but it was one that I knew. And the whole time just waltzing with this beautiful little 4 months young sweetheart. And a little later I'm walking by a couple, and the lady said, "That was so precious. There wasn't a dry eye in the whole place." Just from that sacredness of us together and her feeling my energy. But what I was going to say was, different times during the night, there was somewhere between 15 and 20 kids just sitting around me. They were just sitting around looking at me. And what that was they didn't have any filters on, and they could see my light. And they wanted to be around that light without knowing what it was or a name to it or anything. And they would just come over and they would sit there and they would look up at me and smile and just sit there. Yeah, it's like, you know, that's that raising humanity's consciousness. That's that shifting from 210 to 700. Those kids were at 700. Now, no, they didn't clear things up so they could stay there, but they had an immersion into that high vibration. And they knew it subconsciously. And they were just smiling. And I would walk away, and there would be 5 or 8 or 10 would walk behind me, all around. That inner knowing. And so isn't that awesome? That it's so simple to be able to be in our light and let go of all the negative beliefs and positive beliefs. The not good enough to the I am good enough. I'm not worthy to I am worthy. I'm not loved to I am loved. And on and on. I'm not safe, I am safe. I'm not trapped, I'm trapped to I'm not trapped. But those are at the behavioral level. This is not a behavior. That's why the most programs such as personal development, counseling and therapy, all those things don't work. Because they're dealing with these programs at a behavioral level. And this isn't. It's like this program, whatever the person has, happen like that in a second neurologically. And they got all these beliefs. And then they spend 20 years at a behavior level trying to get rid of something that took a second. Now, how much sense does that make? You want to use logic? Tell me how much sense that makes. That I've had it for 20 years, 40 years. I've worked with people like 80 and 90 years of age. Had these programs from in the womb, 93 years of age. 93. Had it her whole life. Boom! Gone like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's neurological and cellular, not intellectual. Let's talk about your problems. Yeah, like when you're finished talking, come and see me. Okay, like that's not how this is done. It's not how it's done. It's like you created something and you created a program at an identity level. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, no one loves me, I don't fit in, whatever. I'm bad, I'm evil. I grew up in this toxic Irish Catholic home. And everything was a sin. The only difference was one was venial and the other was mortal. And in case you got by each of them, there was the original one. So you got the original sin, then you got the venial sin, then you got the big black mortal sin. This is the one that going to hell. It's just the number, how long you're going to be there. That's the only difference. Okay? And so everything was bad. Everything was bad, everything was evil. Yeah. I remember, Lent, going to confession. And committed the confessional box, walking by the pews, and there was a chick sitting over there, and I was like, okay, I got to go back and do a confession again. I just had this impure thought, like it never stopped. They're in this energy of sin. Sin. I'll tell you what the sin is, not being who you are. That's the sin. You want to put a name to it. And I'm not suggesting you do that. Okay? And so, it's like, we're beautiful. We are divine. Yeah, we got a bunch of mud. You got a bunch of mud on you. You know, it's those beliefs from the experience of growing up in a toxic environment. Okay? And this is about clearing that all off and you getting to see your magnificent beauty. And just then it's like a baby learning to walk. How do I walk? Like Jamie is saying, getting accustomed to this dramatic shift. And when I'm talking about dramatic, this guy was a long way along. When I did this new stuff with him, when were we on that island? A week ago or so?
Yeah, on the 7th.
Yeah. And it's like, wow. Wow. And all that is, you know, is not all that is, but what it is that clearing away all the programs and patterns of who we're not. And that's why Sam was writing things up here a while ago and saying, no, this is not growth. This is not, you're not growing. You already are. You're just clearing the thing, all the mud and the muck and the toxicness off you so you can see who you are. So this is not a growth program. You're in the wrong program if you're looking at growth. Okay? It's not it. It's like, oh my God, this is who I am. There. And I liken it to the color of your eyes. I'll ask you this question. Most of you have heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Okay? What color are your eyes? How long have they been that color? That's who you are. And yet you've got all these different colors. You know, mine are blue. And you got mud on them, you got this on them, whatever. And it's like, no, they're blue. They always were blue, they are blue, and they're always going to be blue. That's it. And that's who we are. We are absolutely divine. We are God energy. And what I'm doing now with people is getting them to see that that's who they are, and then immediately use that God energy to get rid of whatever, like that toe, Sam's, just gone, gone. You know, that's it. So, yeah, and that's who you are. Even Hitler was watching something tonight there with Einstein. And Hitler, you know, having these mass murders. And, you know, for him to take that, whether it was 200 feet of mud and muck and tar on his identity, to purifying, imagine what he would have done with being in his light. You see, we get these programs. We bring them with us. And then we're here to undo them, clear them up from past lifetimes or whatever. And if we don't, we just keep doing the same one. You can call it karma, you can call it whatever. And it's like, that's that reprogramming. And it's about clearing that so you can see who you are. The only thing I can think of when I think about a Hitler is how thick the mud was, how thick the tar was, how thick that oily grease was, and the incredible pain of whatever happened to him to want to destroy humanity. Okay? And so, like, clear that up, and it's like now they're going to do the opposite. Going to use this power now to do something amazing. I can only imagine what I did in a past life. I don't even want to know, okay? For me to be so driven to do what I'm doing here. And I am so, so grateful that you're on this call. I'm so grateful for these guys getting this podcast going. There's people from all over the world sharing their stories, especially the ones about kids. I just absolutely love hearing these kids' stories. You know, like the Noah and the whoever's. And yeah, it's like they get this chance. They get this chance so early, like little Donalda, or that one that I think it's a week now, where this lady, I'm telling you, she looked like she was this light here, big as a house. She was big as a house, and I shared this a few nights ago, but it was like, I said, like, what's your due date? Like, seriously, like, you're going to have this baby pretty soon here, somehow. She said, yeah, it's like a week to 10 days. And then I'm going to have a cesarean after that if we don't have it. And so then I just put my hand on her tummy, and I just held it there, and I'm just telepathically talking to the little baby, the little girl that hasn't been born yet, telling her it's safe to come out, and everything is going to be fine. And she was born the next morning, 12 hours later. You know, like, that's how at one we are with all of this. You know, dogs laying by my feet, dogs that would be everyone else is afraid of. Like, you know, like I have one place where there's 5 cats get on my bed. They come from everywhere, and they come in, find a way to get in, and they're on my bed. They just want to be in that energy. Isn't that awesome? I'm not bragging about me. I'm talking about this light energy that we are. And all we're doing is clearing away the mud and the muck and the grease and the tar, and which are all beliefs. They're all beliefs. And they're all either negative or positive. And where I get stuck for quite a while, why it took me 44 years, because I kept going back to, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved. And then I'd hold it, and I am loved, I am loved. That's not the same as I am love. I am worth. I am divine. It's not the same at all. And so you've experienced that. Some of you are listening for the first time. You know, that's what we're doing here, is shifting from the negative and positive beliefs of who we think we are to who we truly are. That's what it is. And we just clean that all up, and away we go. So, I'm so pleased that you're on and listening and getting messages, either from something that we said, or the Gilberts said, or the Tiffanys, or the Shannon and Tims, or whoever's. And then the impact of it going down to the children, the next generation. It's so awesome. You know, how long have we been doing this now?
What are we doing?
This.
The live stream?
Yeah.
42 days.
Oh yeah, 42 days.
days.
Okay. 6 weeks. Okay? That's awesome. So, didn't mean to interrupt you. Wake you up. So, anyway, so there you have it. And if anybody's got any questions or whatever, Sam is going to be saying something, but I would like you.
What's that long comment say?
Tim and I went with my brother to AA meeting, and when they say who they are, and he said he was a drug addict, I looked at him and shook my head. We left after the meeting. I told him, how are you supposed to get over it if you keep speaking that over yourself? We are not defined by those things and past. And Sam, Epsom salt and essential oils for your...
Who said that? Tiffany, I'm assuming? Shannon. Yeah, I used the salt water the first time, and then I was like, why don't I just use my divine energy?
12-step thing, I wouldn't be here today without it. So that's what I had availed to me at the time.
I wouldn't be here today without my narcissism.
Exactly, because he wouldn't have been in enough pain to say, Don, can I have that, what you got there?
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, he was tough. He was tough. Was it 3 times or 4 times?
3, I gave it up, so 4th, but you got it.
Yeah. And the second one, he called me. And I'm thinking, no effing way, I'm not doing this anymore. He's just too hard to deal with. Just go get in your pain and your ego programs and truly give me a call when you're ready. That's what I was saying after he had texted me to say, could we meet? And we were in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And so I'm coming around the corner on the pier, and I see him, and I'm thinking, am I going to do this again? I don't know, was that the 3rd time or 2nd time? Second time. And I keep walking towards him, and I could just see the softness and the surrender that was on him. I gave him a big hug and went to the end of the pier onto these big rocks.
I gave you a hug.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Just for accuracy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I accepted it. And so we just went to the end of the pier and on the big boulders and did the transformation. And you could see the softness. And Jamie, softness is not his strong suit, okay? It was too much up here to have that.
Yeah, I didn't get where I got to with softness. For sure.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how the hardness, like other people's energy of the hardness, is so off-putting to me now. And I'm like, man, that was fucking me. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was that growing up in that narcissistic home environment. Like, you had to put those layers on to protect.
Yeah.
You know, the active alcoholics and the whatevers and coke addicts and whatevers. And we just find these layers and layers and layers. Protection. That's all it is protection. Anyway, it was I think that was the second, was that the second time that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, it was, you know, it was wonderful. And then the third one was like, okay, Don, how long are you doing this? Like seriously, like, are we going to you're going to continue working with this fella? And anyway.
At least there was a couple of years in between that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a good stretch.
Earned my stripes.
Yeah. And so, anyway, it was definitely. I'm so pleased that I didn't give up on him. What he's been doing since is amazing. And I don't want you to give up on you. And if you figure you're going to quit, just put your head in a bucket of ice and hold it there for about 10 minutes and then come out and see if it's different. And get back into your light. Just get back into your light no matter what the ego is telling you. No matter what the ego is trying to convince you of. All of it's a bunch of bullshit. It's all a lie. All a lie. Every bit of it. You are divine.
So we got some comments.
Things though. One, so yesterday when Janet shared, the thought that came for me was, tell Gilbert to do the woo-woo. And without having to tell him, like in actual words, he did it. So this is reinforcing my not really wanting to communicate. I'm working with this telepathy thing. And so, was it last night or this morning? We're all mixed up because we're living at night, which is my next point. But I had like 3 sneezes, maybe 4 sneezes in a row. And there was definitely more coming. But after the 4th one, I just sent the command out, like, that's enough. And literally I went to sneeze and it stopped and I didn't sneeze since then. I haven't sneezed.
Exactly.
And then the next one was our puppy Teddy has been sleeping in our room, and in the mornings, which for us are like 3 hours after we do this stream, he's been doing his crazy bark attack to the point where I have to get up and let him out the door. And so this morning he barks, and I just telepathically send out the command, that's enough, Teddy. Didn't even use words. And that was his last bark. I went back to sleep and he stayed in the room until I was done sleeping without barking.
Yep.
So I'm playing with that, which is cool. And then the next thing to reinforce, Don and I were talking last night of how everything was coming together. And it was what spurred it was Don saying about, I guess it was about 6 weeks ago, that every decision is made with that filter of, will this get me closer to my light or further away? So with that being said, I have a new decision for all of us. And that's, we're going to shift this 11 p.m. Philippines to 10 a.m. Philippines, which will be evening for those of you. So Eastern, that will be 9 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. I don't know the Europeans, but that's, yeah. We're not going to keep living in the nighttime to do these. So that is effective immediately. So that will be, our next one will be Sunday evening for you guys, Sunday 9 p.m. Eastern.
So just to clarify, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Philippines time, so that's 11 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern, sorry. Oh, so not tomorrow.
Yeah, the next.
Oh, tomorrow's Monday.
For us, but it's still.
So are we doing it tomorrow, Monday?
Or
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday morning.
So Tuesday morning, Monday for you guys, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, so Sunday.
Right now it's Sunday morning.
Oh, it's Sunday morning. Oh, okay, got it. So then, yeah. So tomorrow evening for you guys instead of tomorrow morning.
Okay, we'll make sure to let you guys know just in case, because I know it's been 42 days straight. You guys got used to doing these in the morning, but thank God.
All as well, we'll still do the hour after, so it'll just be in the evening for you guys.
Perfecto. And just to kind of hit on what you just said, Jamie, I've seen your sneezes. You sneeze like 10 times in a row. So that's interesting. And then yeah, Teddy doesn't shut up for anything until he gets out of that door. So that's really cool. I know there's probably a lot of people on here that are probably new and they're like, what the heck did these guys just talk about? I'm so lost. This sounds like they're speaking Chinese or ET or both. So just to kind of bring it all together, we do have a short little video, and I just want to let you guys know that if you've been searching, I know a lot of my audience personally are entrepreneurs, and they've been programmed to do the personal development, which just like I have over 10 years of personal development and transformational work, energy work, plant, drugs, medicines, whatever you want to say. And it was going from what Don was saying, the I am worthy or the I'm not worthy to I am worthy. And it's interesting because no matter how much I did, I would constantly go back to the negative toxic programs. And it's similar to, you saying I am worthy is similar and as crazy as you going in the morning and trying to affirm the color of your eyes. That's how insane it is. It's like you don't have to affirm that. You just know what color they are when you wake up in the morning, right? So you are worth and you are love and you are divine. And so our mission here at I Am Divinity is to help you remember that, to access that, and to be in that completely. So if you've been searching, whether it's personal development wise, religion, philosophy, whatever it is, all I want you to know is that your search is over.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Don Smith. That's Don with 2 N's. And I'm here to share with you what I've developed over 44 years that I call I Am Divinity. I say that I Am Divinity because I'm divine and so are you. No matter what you've done and what you haven't done, you are divine, you always were and you always will be. And it gets all covered up. And so all of those trips to the personal developments and all of those things, and they don't hold. And did you ever question yourself? Instead of just going back and getting the next one and the next one and the next one and none of them hold? Well, there's a reason for that. A very big reason is because you're working at a belief level of who you think you are. That's what beliefs are, both negative and positive. They're who we think we are. So going from a negative belief to a positive belief is not the answer whatsoever. It's about the knowing of who we truly are. There's knowing. It isn't a belief. And so all of these ideas of doing this and all of those trips to the wherevers, it's like dealing with a piece of something. But this is not a piece of anything. This is the total knowing of who you are. And what I've developed over this 44 years is a process that's instant and it's permanent. Now, the permanent comes in by you doing something for holding it. But I'm telling you, there's people have this for years and it's instant. And how do I say that with such boldness? Well, put it in the category of a phobia. 90% of the population has a phobia of something. Bugs, snakes, rats, heights, water, whatever. And my question to you is, how long did it take for you to create that phobia? Yes, you're right. 1 instant. And yet everybody questions me about that. And yet that's all it took, one instant. So now what I did was I reverse engineered near-death experiences and phobias to find out how they worked, and I reverse engineered it. So if you can create a phobia in a second, and most times it's before the age of reason, which is 4, 5, 6. Think about that. At that young of an age, that in 1 second you created a lifetime phobia. Well, it's a lifetime phobia because you're holding on to it for protection. That's how the ego works. It's going to get you to hold on to something that's harmful for you so it can keep you aware in case it happens again. That's how toxic your ego is. And it's not your ego, it's the ego. Sorry, my mistake. Because you are much more than an ego. And so what it's about is if you create it in a second, why would it take any longer than a second to reverse it if you knew how you did it? That's what I do. That's one of the pieces. And then the other is the permanentness of it all. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. What color are your eyes? What color are those eyes of yours? Now you tell me how long you had that color. Yeah, your whole life. That's permanent. Would you agree? But look at the permanentness of a phobia. You had it from age 4 to 84. That's 80 years. You'd think that was permanent. But it was created in a second, and you can reverse it in a second. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're talking about. Something that's instant, something that's permanent, and it's about who you truly are. Your divinity, your divine. Don't ever forget it. Always remember it. And all of these other things are happening because you have an attachment to the personal development system of beliefs and changing a belief from a negative to a positive. It's not going to hold. It will not hold. Yes, there will be improvements. Congratulations on doing that. That's searching. I'm talking about a shift from this to a shift from this. Who we're not to who we are. And then doing a simple exercise. Takes 5 minutes, 3 times a day to hold it. And there you have it. That's it. That's who you are. That's why it's like the color of your eyes. The color of your eyes has been that way all this time, and you still have that color. Well, it's the same. Who you truly are is permanent. Who your beliefs are not, because it's not true. No matter how much you believe, the negative or the positive about those beliefs, they're false. And so, I'm here to share with you to go on a journey under 2 hours. Now I'm talking about, like I've worked with 15 different pro athletes or Olympians, okay? That's just in sports. And then mega billionaires, millionaires, and health, cancer. You know, one guy, yeah, I met him in the garbage room in Vancouver. I opened up the door and there he is. And he's so gray and he's humped over and he's like, you think he was going to die any second. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? He said, oh, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. I've had 32 radiation treatments. And I don't know how much time I have. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Within that 15 minutes, I had asked him all these questions. And all I knew about him was his name was Al. 3 weeks later, I get a call from him. The same guy. He said, hi, Don, this is Al Valjanic. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago. Yeah? Well, I don't have any cancer. Now, I could fill this room with those stories. Fill this room with those stories. And you can access this magnificent, powerful, divine energy called I Am Divinity. And what's natural about it, it matches who you truly are. That's the key. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that you will know who you are and it will override and supersede who you think you are? Now, if you're tied up with that persona that you've developed, in a second, I might add, and kept it all this time. Like I just worked with a guy that when he was 9, his mom died, and he decided to harden his heart. And he hardened his heart the next 40 years. And that's what all his issues were about. We went back, cleaned that up, boom, it's gone. All the symptoms were all gone. That's how easy it is, and that's how simple this is. So if you want to continue with your hard work and all of those kind of things, and going back and paying for this again, that again, and this again, and the counseling and the therapy and coaching and all of that, go ahead, by all means. But if you want to be free, free to be you, free to be who you truly are, and those eyes, every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you how magnificent you are. And that's how this process is about, whether it's in an individual or whether it's in group. And I welcome you to join us in this journey of raising humanity's consciousness from its existing 210 to 700. That's right, you heard it right. 210 to 700. So it's an awesome journey. We're looking for 100 that are willing to go to 700 to raise humanity's consciousness. So I welcome you, and I'll see you on our journey.
So that video does a really good job of explaining what the process is and our mission here at I Am Divinity. And what I would like to ask you guys is, if you do us a favor, go and follow us on a new Instagram page. It's called @TheIAMDivinity. We dropped a video last night. It was Jamie talking about how this works. You know, right now, obviously on the earth, I think you were saying there's like 20-something wars that are happening right now. Well, the way to change that isn't by, you know, donating money or trying to go out there and protest or whatever it may be. The way that we change these things, whether it's the wars, the greed, the diseases, all of that, is by being in our light. And it's just simply just turning on that light switch. And the more of us that actually turn that light switch on, the brighter that light on the earth becomes. And so it's just as simple as turning on the light switch, and now when the light is on, what happens? Darkness can no longer exist. And so that's how divinity works in the moment. Don turned on and off the spotlight. Genius. I love it. So please go and follow us at The I Am Divinity on Instagram, and also the YouTube channel. If you could drop that in the link, Will. We're going to be updating that basically daily. And so before we end the call, just want to remind you guys, if you need help with any of the getting into the divinity process in the membership portal or your Forex fund or the crypto fund, we're going to have an onboarding call here in about 32 minutes. That is going to be 12 Eastern, noon Eastern. So we'll have that dropped in the chat below. But before I end the call, are there any comments or questions or anything that you guys would like to share? Josh?
All good, Tiffany.
Yeah, very much so. He's holding what he got. Yeah. So, doing well. Really pleased. It was just on Josh. I worked with him, was 3 years, maybe? 3 years ago, maybe?
3.5, yeah.
3.5 years ago. And he was into crypto and whatever else, what other words might... Forex, yeah, crypto and Forex. And he was never able to get by 21,000. Okay, that was his max. He'd go from 17 to 21. And at that time, he was at 17. And I took him through the process. I believe it was 3 months later, he was a millionaire. Like, how is that? How is that? Okay? Now, I'm not advocating that everybody come on so they can become millionaires. That's not what this is about. But in his case, that was the genre that he was working on. And boom, cleaned it up and away he went. And that's how this works. There's a block like Sam's big toe. That was a block. There was something going on with him around relationship that was stopping him from moving forward in the direction he was planning on doing subconsciously. Okay? And stubbed his toe, and boom, now I can't physically move forward. I can't. Well, that's how this works. You know, it's either the ego trying to stop you from being in your light, or your light trying to open things up so you can hold it. Like, those are the two options you have, in or out of your light. It's that simple. And these physical symptoms, yeah, you can crucify me if you want with how serious they are and how long you had them and the doctor said this and the whatevers. I am saying that you created it. And I'm saying that so that you can say, wow, if that's true what that fella's talking about, that I created it, well, I wonder if I can uncreate it. And I'm telling you, you can. You damn well can uncreate it. No matter how serious it is. How serious it is. I think I shared this one before, but it was a lady in Massachusetts or something. And when I was doing I opened it up for 10 people with cancer to take my process when I was in Vancouver. And she, oh gosh, what was it? Yeah, she was, hadn't been at it, well, I can share my daughter, but I'll finish off with this one. And her cancer was so bad that she couldn't fly into Vancouver. So I did it with her. And over the phone. And that was on a Saturday. And on Sunday morning, she jogged 5 miles and jogged up a hill. And she had not been out of bed other than to go downstairs to the fridge to get something to eat or drink and back to bed for 3 months. Now, what do you think of that? Okay? And then she was going to make the decision, wanted to make the decision to come anyway to Vancouver. And her family stopped her. That's voodoo. That's that voodoo shit. Don't you be going there. Okay? You don't know what that guy does. No idea. Okay? And here she had already gone jogging, walking and jogging. Okay? Not out of bed for all that time. And she listened to her family, and 2 months later she was dead. Okay? That's the things that I find difficult to deal with. So I just wanted to go through the phone and grab them by the jugular and say, Smarten up, you know. Smarten up. You're you know, sentencing your sister or your daughter or your mother or the whatever to death. You're giving them a life sentence. But that's the ego is working through them at the same time as it's trying to work through the person that's making the decision. That's how the ego works. And we need to recognize that. That's okay. Need to recognize it when the ego is trying to, you know, trick us, trying to say, you did that on your own. That wasn't that process, or whatever. It's like trying to get you somehow convinced to sever all ties. Sever all ties. And then, when you do it, there was a guy, one of the ones in that 10 that took the process. He came and his stomach was as big as that lady I just mentioned that was the mother of this one that was just born here, Donalda. Yeah, like seriously, like she was like this, almost like that light. Okay, and that's how big her stomach was, and that's how, like, that's how this shows up, and it literally was gone, and they told her not to go to Vancouver. Huh? Told him, yeah. So it's absolutely amazing how the ego uses people that are weak, people that have given up, people that are whatever, and they use their programs to convince them, if she's strong enough or he's strong enough to fight it, then the ego gets the relatives and whatever say, yeah, that's voodoo shit. You don't know, like, you don't know what that guy's doing, you know, whatever. And yet, that's where the answer is. So, anyway, and I'm saying these because if you know someone that there's a very large chance that whatever it is that you have can be cleared up using this process. You know, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. And the litany of physical symptoms, you know, whether it's, it doesn't matter, they're just, yeah, they can be gone. I've watched. I've physically watched, you know, something like this big bloating cancer stomach cancer, and just go right in front of me. Right in front of me. Like the lady with the bulge the size of her fist on her stomach wall. And 2.5 hours later, there was no trace of it. And she had it for a whole year. Like, that's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. So, I invite you to step into your power. No matter if you think your relationship will be over, or kids won't love you anymore, or whatever bullshit stories the ego will create, they're all lies. They're all lies. Okay? Guaranteed. So, I invite you to come take the process and bring 28 or 40 people with you. Yeah. Yeah, let's get this going.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just going back to what Don said, not only did my toe, this is like the most recent one, had a couple of incidents. The other one was actually, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I woke up in the morning and I had tonsillitis. And the way I knew I had tonsillitis is I messaged one of my nurse friends and she's like, "Oh, well, what are your symptoms?" And it's funny because it's like, with the whole medical system, they work based off of symptoms, but this process isn't based off of the symptom. It's based off of the root cause, and then clearing that up clears everything else up. So I told her, like, yeah, my throat is hurting, my ear is hurting, I think I have an infection. She's like, oh yeah, well, according to my calculations, you have tonsillitis. And she's like, okay, you need this drug and that drug, and I've never been into like those drugs or whatever, medicine, whatever you want to call them. And so I was like, I'm just gonna stay home and do my divine focus all day. Literally by the end of the night, it was more than 95% gone, and within 24 hours, it was completely gone. So I know for a fact, that everything that we are experiencing in our life, whether it's a health condition, financial loss, relationships, or whatever, is something that we created. And if we can create it, then we can also uncreate it. And so Don doesn't teach you anything. He's not a coach. He's not a guru. He's just someone that's piece by piece uncovered it for himself, and he empowers you. He's empowered us to basically come back into that knowing of who we truly are. And there's nothing better than experiencing that. So we invite you to come, invite your friends. We're going to be here every night for you guys, every morning for us, or I said every rising for us. So thank you for that, Jamie. I appreciate it. And so we'll be here. It'll be Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern for you guys. The next time we'll see you. And go ahead, Don.
So I just thought of a crazy, humorous story. I had worked with a doctor of internal medicine, and he had outbursts of rage, and he had there was 3 different physical symptoms. We're talking a doctor of internal medicine here, okay? And within 3 days, everything was gone. And his wife had these really serious PMS pains every month. And he said, Doug was his name, and he said, well, why don't you give Don a call about your PMS? What in the fuck does Don Smith know about PMS, And it was like, it was so funny. And she never took it. No. Like,
I thought you were an expert in that subject.
Yeah, I'm an expert at showing you how to be in your life. That's it. Whatever that symptom is. But anyways, it was pretty hilarious how pissed off she was that her husband, doctor of internal medicine, mentioned, and instead of going to a doctor to find out how to do that, it was like, go to see Don. Yeah, anyway.
Was she on her PMS before?
Nah, it's that one.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're PMSing or you got cancer or you stubbed your toe. Come to IAMDIVINITY. No guarantees. It's up to you.
I have no idea what you're going to do or not do, whether you accept or what don't accept. Yeah, but I'm telling you, you come in with the guns a-blazing, say, I want this. Just tell me what I have to do. I'm on. I'm in. That's it. You know what? This fella here, one of the strongest narcissists I ever met. It was gone.
I was number 1 in everything.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was the top salesman in this and top salesman in that. And he was a top narcissist in this and top.
Gilbert, can we get a Gilbert for that? We have fun.
Not more than who is it? Rick Brock
Yeah, Rick, yeah. And I tell you, this is happened on more than one occasion. This Rick, he had 3 daughters. I can't remember, it's 3 or 4. It's either 3 or 4. And they all took it, and the changes were dramatic, absolutely dramatic. Well, the one daughter, I saw her on Tuesday. Her whole body was covered with a rash. Her whole body, okay? And I flew into Toronto, especially to meet her for that reason. And so that was on Tuesday. And I did the process with her on Tuesday afternoon. And she had already made the appointment for the doctor. And by the time she got to the doctor on Thursday morning, all her rash was gone. It was completely gone. Completely. Her father, Rick, about 3 months later, called me and ripped me to shreds because of the amount of money I charged. Okay? Like, just tore me to shreds. And him a multi-millionaire. Yeah. Like, that's how toxic. And he had taken the process and had a dramatic shifts himself. And then 3 months later, he's out of it, and he's like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So it's sometimes it's like okay. I'll let you live in your pain. You can call me when you're ready. But anyway, that's the. He says, you shouldn't be charging so much anyway. Yeah. Him a multi-millionaire. So, anyway, it's not logical. There's no reason. There's none of that. It's the ego doing everything it can to stay in control and not get you to be around this energy of light and find out who you truly are. Yeah. You're on, bud.
Yeah, it's interesting because like people will spend money on all the surgeries, the supplements, and all of these things that are externally referenced, but little, like, oh wow, let me spend a little bit of money on getting into my light, and they throw, a rage. It's not logical, but that's just the ego. But any last words before we take it home? Any last stories?
There's lots of stories. I tell you what's going on for me. Jamie and I have been. I shared with Jamie. I think it was right 4 years ago about the 114 people at 700 to raise all 8 billion. And I just see it getting so clear, so close. The doability of this, and especially with the kind of results that you are all having, and how much time you're spending in your divinity, and recognizing that it's you that's doing that. That it wasn't Don Smith that healed you. It was you that got back into your light. And and that's what happened. And so this is getting really, like, this is real, like real. Before it was like the imagining of that happening. Now it is happening. So 114 people at 700. I want you to be one of those 700. That's what I'm asking of you, to be one of those 700. To hold that, get into that 700 vibration on the consciousness scale, Dr. Hawkins' consciousness scale, and hold that vibration. Done. And that's it. Then there will be like 1,000 of these big lights. It'll be that bright. And that's all it will be. That's not all it'll be, but it's what it will be. This light of who we are will shine so brightly that all of these symptoms will dissolve. They will. Just like Sam's toe. Yeah, just like Jamie's narcissism. And even though it wasn't at its identity level, most of you put these at an identity level. That I have cancer. It's like, that's my identity. I had a doctor, listen to this. I had a doctor that had 5 different cancers over 25 years and was never without cancer in 25 years. A doctor, a medical doctor. Wow. Okay? And she came to me, and I'll tell you her first words. If that wasn't my best friend that referred you, you would never have seen me here. Hey, okay, dear. Suit yourself. Like I don't care. Like if you want to do this, I'll be here for you. And if you don't, I'll be there. Just watch you not do it. Okay? It's that simple. And finally, about 3/4 of the way into phase 1, she melted and became soft because her whole identity's tied up in the doctor and the doctor label. And the 2, she had 2 when she showed up, in her hip and somewhere else, I forget. And they were gone. Here she is, a doctor she went to see and was gone. And she melted. She melted. I don't usually work with that energy. I let them get more painful. But that's what can happen. Imagine some doctors but right now, in case you know in case you know of this person, Jamie, who is it that I'm wanting to be on a podcast? The guy in Texas or where?
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. So if anyone even know Joe Rogan, have connections to him, that's the one I want to get on, because I know the bantering back and forth that we would have, and he's got such a large following, and this would be just like that. Yeah. Or somebody other than Joe Rogan that's a famous blogger. So anyway.
Shannon says we may have a connection to make that happen.
Ooh, way to go, Shannon. Okay, well, you keep me posted on that one. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember like a year ago, I was introducing Dawn to some people, and I remember these 2 in specific. I'm not going to mention their names because they're probably watching. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. They're both top earners in their respected industries, making well over 7-8 figures. And whenever, they've done all of the spiritual work, all of the personal development, they were, at the highest levels of echelon. And at first they were super into it, but as soon as I put them in a group chat with Dom, like, they made every single excuse why not to do it. And so, it's just interesting to see how far it's progressed since then, and how we have all of these people all over the world now that are just naturally being drawn, and we're not having to force this on anyone. So just invite people. It's for them to choose. You never know who's gonna take it and run. Like, for example, I didn't even talk to Gilbert. He was just looking at my Facebook one day, hopped on the stream, and on day 15, without even doing the process, actually had a beautiful transformation. So yeah, just make the invitation and then allow them to choose for themselves. And with that being said, just a little reminder, we're right on the precipice of our pre-launch. We have a couple of things that need to get worked out because we're merging 2 different systems. And so we'll keep you guys posted on that. And then just a little reminder, we will be, if you didn't hear already, the stream will be shifted from morning your time or rising your time to our rising. So it'll be 10 a.m. Philippines time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have an email sent out the day of, or the night before, actually, probably would be better, just to remind you guys, and then an hour before. And with that being said, we love you guys.
TV spot.
Yeah.
I am Divinity Studios, baby. We love you guys. You probably see a completely different version of Dawn. Dawn's different in the morning. Or the rising, I should say.
Cartoons to the primetime TV spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you then. Stay divine. Stay blessed. Yeah. Stay in your divinity.
Of your divine.
Don't forget your divine focus. I know I'm going to do an extra long one tonight. And yep, we'll see you.
That was a cue.